Hello and welcome. No, we're not going to do that voice. Hi and welcome, everybody. Shop's Topics, channel that seeks to highlight the blatant sexism, misogyny, and transphobia of gender-based censorship. As you can tell, this is not a normal video. I am here, of course, with a friend of the community. I always forget what you want me to introduce you as.
Guts
Guts.
Circer online. We can go by Philip for now.
Okay. Man of mystery.
Hello.
And then in the background we have Philip's friend, special friend. So she's just gonna do her own thing back there.
You're like perfectly hiding her.
That's mysteries. Anyway, so we are actually in a hotel room, not for that reason, no, because I am spending the night up here in his neighborhood for a day after Halloween party, and I just didn't really want to drive all the way back to Portland for, 2.5 hour drive. But anyway, so that's why the location is different.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him a very basic overview idea for this video, and he's like, oh, we can try it, I guess. So no idea if this video is going to be even usable or not. Presumably if you're watching this now, it's usable, but we'll see. So tell us, Gutzerger, what do you think makes a good male feminist? Go.
Well, for one, I would think
Not being an asshole.
well, but how does one not be an asshole?
What? So if you haven't seen it, I actually just came out with a video that I put up yesterday on Halloween called Why It's Rude to Tell a Woman Nice Tits. And if you have not seen it yet, I do recommend you watch it. Have you seen it yet? You haven't,
Yes,
right?
no, I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
watched it on Tron.
Yes. So
One of my few moments of actually being home long enough to be able to watch one of your non-YouTube videos.
yeah. So, I mean, I think being a good male feminist is about, like any kind of being a good person, it's about deed, not words. There is a kind of almost cliche, I don't know, where there's a lot of dudes in progressive spaces who are like, I'm a man feminist. And then they turn around and like talk about their girlfriends like they're a piece of meat. Or they're just, they're very misogynistic, but they think if they call themselves a male feminist, therefore it's true. And I keep trying to get my husband to be in a video with me because I think he's actually a very good example of a male feminist. He doesn't call himself a feminist, but like he's very supportive of my content. Like he actually tells people at work, like, oh yeah, my wife is a topless equality activist, and they're usually like, oh, that's cool. And so it's funny when I get comments from dudes that are like, your husband is okay with this. I'm like, first of all, I wouldn't be with him if he was like, no, you're not allowed to. And second of all, yeah, he's fucking cool with it.
How would you have been able to have a marriage for as long as you have, with him not being okay with the kind of content that
I
that
literally
you make?
started Topless Topics in the same year that I started dating him. So
she still has business cards that show both of them.
Yeah, my old drawn one or whatever, that was actually fan art drawn by someone from way back in the day, and that's why he has like weird dorky hair. Because he had just gotten a haircut when I first started dating him, so he was at this like awkward phase. But yeah, it's just funny to me. So do you have any thoughts on that? Like what, okay, how about let's have an example of a bad male feminist.
Making assumptions. Making assumptions of, I think that someone would like to be treated a certain way. Mm-hmm. I think that the way that I'm approaching something is, I know my intent, so clearly I'm not trying to have a certain kind of attitude. So they must think the same thing as me. No, ask them.
Or it's their issue. Yeah, well that's, again, the nice tits video, that's something that I really try to emphasize, and it's not just, like, you don't have to go to the level of being like, hey, nice tits. Again, watch the video so I don't have to like regurgitate the entire thing. But basically, the issue is whether your desire to pass judgment on a woman's body outweighs her desire to not hear you share that judgment. And like you're saying, like it's an attitude, and I mean this doesn't just go with feminism, this goes with racism and everything else like that, is you might have the best intentions in the world, but it's like if you are making someone feel worse about themselves or you're making them uncomfortable or whatever, just admit it, dude. Don't be like, I'm complimenting them. It's like, if you're making them feel shitty, that's not a compliment.
Well, like a great example of this that you're describing is what Trump has said. Trump has said how...
Oh, we just turned off. I'm just kidding. We just turned off half the audience, and that's fine.
Yeah. Guess what? This is a leftist channel. Who would have known? Trump had said during one speech about how I am doing certain things, I'm doing certain bills for women, whether or not they like it or not.
I know, that line was wild. And of course, all the Trump women are like, he's protecting me. And it's like, even if he was, and he's not, I mean, this is pussy grabber and cheap, but even if he was, like, why would you be okay with a man being like, hey, I'm going to protect you whether you want it or not? To me, that's, like, terrifying.
Yeah.
That's, like, purity culture and everything like that. It's like, oh, you know.
Protecting them from themselves. They don't know better.
Yeah, it's like chastity belt type shit where it's like, you know, rather than keep the men in check, we're going to keep the women under control. I mean, topless equality. So many of the fucking dudes, I ask them, like, why do you think, you know, why is it that women aren't given the same rights as men? So many of them are like, oh, because women will get raped more. It's like, first of all, women get raped regardless of how many clothes we wear. Second of all, how about you put the control on the fucking rapists? Why are you making women have to account for the rapists?
Well, and that's, you know, protecting women from themselves kind of mentality.
It's like oh, they're gonna get themselves taken advantage of, so we're just gonna preemptively take their rights away.
It's the same argument in Saudi Arabia with a certain selective listening of the Quran, which is the full context is both men and women, or what was it? Men need to not assault women and women need to be covered up, but they ignore the men shouldn't assault women, and they just hear the women should cover up because we are protecting them, because all men are just frothing at the mouth as soon as they see a toe, an ankle, you know. So
yeah, well, it's like the people that, you know, argue for topless inequality, it's like how many of them are like Islamophobic, but they're using the exact same arguments against women being able to show our chests. It's like, oh no, they're gonna entice men. It's like, well, that's the same argument being used in places that don't let women show their hair. So it's like, who put you in charge of picking which body parts women are allowed to show before it's inviting ourselves up to being raped?
And I guess to reel this back to the conversation of how to not be an asshole, we're talking about a lot of examples of making assumptions, not listening to women's opinions.
Or any marginalized person. Put it out there.
But I mean, in the context of feminism. Yeah. But these are things that, you know, this is not just random dude, you know, has opinions kind of thing. I try to reach out to women. How do you want to be treated? What do you think when I say this kind of thing? Do you agree with me? Yes or no? Did I say something wrong?
And be ready to change your behavior too. That's an important thing. Because a lot of guys, they'll be like, you know, well, I explained my reasoning, and it's like, okay, but if you're unwilling to change, even after you find out that it's offending the person, you're not a feminist. You're still like, well, my opinion is more important than your opinion. So yes,
and jokes.
Talk.
And well, the thing is, I was, just before we were recording the video, I was talking about a bad experience that I had with a friend because I made inappropriate jokes that I thought were okay in the context of
and this was a sex worker, by the way.
Yeah.
And even just because someone's a sex worker, just because they're topless or whatever, does not mean that they're like, hey, treat me any way you want. Everybody has boundaries, regardless of what that person's occupation is. That's another thing to keep in mind, fellas. Just because I have my nipples visible doesn't mean I'm like, oh, I want to hear you say how hot, dude. Anyway.
But I didn't know that she thought that the jokes were untasteful, and so eventually decided to part ways.
Rather nastily.
Yeah, rather nastily. But you know, in the end, I made. You know, I was the one that started the problem in the first place.
Yeah.
So.
See, I mean, and I was saying when we were talking about it that it's like she did it in a bitchy way, and I think that it wasn't just you. I think there was probably other stuff going on as well that she was upset about, and so it was kind of projection of that because that's what humans do. We tend to do that. But also at the same time, like there's the whole, nice guy bye Felipe thing where a lot of guys, if you say any kind of no to them, they will go from like, you fucking bitch, blah, 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 to straight up stabbing and killing people, women. And so we are raised to be we women, we're raised to be careful about rejecting men, because not only does it often lead to a uncomfortable situation, it can straight up be dangerous. There are women every day murdered for saying no to men. And so it's like, I can understand that hesitancy to just straight up say to a guy, hey, you're making me uncomfortable, but it was still wrong of her to make the assumption that you would be like that. She should have given you the opportunity to show if you were going to be like that, especially because it was online. Like, it wasn't like you were like physically near her when you were having this interaction. That you have to be a lot more careful, but she should have given you the opportunity to demonstrate that you're not like that. And so I'm sorry that she did that. Whatever, again, she probably had other stuff going on, but nonetheless, it hurt you. Because you actually try to be a good guy. You feel like, I've known you for years now, and whenever you upset someone, you feel shitty about it for days. I'm the same way, so.
She knew how things were for me after that encounter, but, again, it was still, a shitty thing happened, and don't blow up. Try to ameliorate the situation. Don't just
don't let your ego control your reaction.
Yeah.
Be ready to be like, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that. Now I know, and either commit to the bit and be like, I don't care, I'm going to do that anyway. Or better, be like, hey, I don't want this person to dislike me, or I don't want this person to have this opinion about me. I'm going to change my behavior. You should probably do number 2, but if you're going to do number 1, at least admit it.
Now, I think another thing, so now we've gone over...
how to be a bad
so we've gone over this kind of topic of... I don't know.
This is not a structured video.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. This is we're just hanging out, talking about shit. You're right here with us. You're hanging out. You want a cider? Come and pull up a cider. Don't unless you're under 21. Don't drink.
But another topic of how men can be better is don't get grossed out. Say period.
Talk. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. Like human bodies do things, and don't go, ew, that's gross that your body does that, or I don't want to be around you, I don't want to have sex with you.
I still remember I was at work, and back when I worked in an office or whatever, and there was a guy who said he had a headache. And I was like, well, I have some Midol, which is basically just Tylenol. I don't even know what else it has in it, but
caffeine.
It's caffeine. There you go. And I gave him one, and he was like, oh, am I gonna grow breasts now? And it was like, it's fucking Tylenol, dude. Like, chill out. But yeah, I just remember being like, okay. And he literally was making that joke like multiple times that day. I don't know. Sorry, you just made me think of that. Random. Please continue.
See, for me, my first assumption with Tylenol, I don't even really know that, like, I know that Tylenol is a painkiller.
Yeah.
Like, outside of that, I'm like, I don't know, I wouldn't have known that it is the go-to.
Well, no, Midol. That's the thing.
Well, you said it was Midol is
Midol is basically Tylenol plus caffeine. It's a pill that's marketed as being for periods. And so he was like, oh, it's a period drug, therefore I'm going to grow breasts if I take it.
Well, and now I'm wondering how he would have come across to knowing about this detail.
Because, you don't. That's the thing. He was like wildly assuming.
But how did he come across the assumption? I mean, it would either be a TV advertisement.
Yeah, it's probably that.
Or he's picking up period supplies for a significant
I seriously doubt that.
But it's like what? But like the reasoning of a person coming to this kind of conclusion. I try thinking about.
I don't know. I didn't mean to get you on a tangent.
I know I overthink a lot of things, but
okay.
This is...
So back to what you were talking about with men making assumptions and.
We'll just don't be grossed out.
Oh, that was it. Sorry.
And be willing to have conversations about topics that you are not familiar with, whether it be a person gushing about, I don't know, a dress or something, or
The most feminine thing you can think of now.
Or be receptive to the idea that a person feels absolutely miserable when they're cramping really bad. And don't just be like, well, suck it up, buttercup.
Oh, I know. Like, so many fucking times growing up having male bosses, and it's like,
just because you can't see visibly that a person is in pain or has a disability, don't just assume that they don't have it.
Yeah, because it's just like there's so many times where, I'd be having miserable period cramps and I'd be like, I can't come in today, especially if it's like a job I'm on my feet. And the boss were just like, oh, you're not dying, just come in. And it's like, you don't know what the fuck I'm going through right now, buddy. And my periods, honestly, like, ironically, after I had kids, they weren't as bad. But they would still, like, I would have days where I just was like miserable. And I would just have bosses that, they were just like, deal with it. So one thing that's funny is I have a 7 and a 9-year-old, and they're both assigned male at birth, although the 9-year-old says he's non-binary. He's like, I don't care what words people... He basically doesn't give a shit. It's awesome.
Gender fluid.
Gender fluid, there you go. But, like, I have always been very upfront with them about, like, what sex is and stuff like that. And, I mean, that's how I was raised, too. And guess what? Never had a teen baby. Never had STDs. Didn't lose my virginity until 25. Guess what happens to a lot of kids who don't get sexual education with their kids? Teen parents, STDs, stuff like that. If you keep stuff a secret and you leave them open to Googling online or hearing, people out, their classmates or whatever, giving them false information, you're leaving them open to bad information. So I think it's more important. But speaking about periods, like my kids, it's funny because they'll come into the bathroom because, I don't know. When you have kids, it's hard to have a shut bathroom door anyway. And they'll come in and I'll be in the middle of like changing my Diva cup or whatever. And my kids will be like, why is there blood? And then I tell them, it's because I have a uterine lining and it's blah, 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 blah. And they just like stop listening. Like it's so funny because it's like people online, they'll be like, you talk to your children about your period? And it's like, yeah, what are they going to do? Like,
guess what? Children's heads are not going to blow up by talking about this kind of thing.
What is it you
actually,
think
there was,
do?
What was it? Someone in the Discord had actually shared like the history of studies about whether or not parents being nude in front of their children was assigned with negative side effects of growing up. And there was like 10 different studies done through the last 50 years, and all of them came back as either no difference or possible positive improvements.
Yeah.
And of course, we are not talking about anything sexual.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
We're talking about just clothing.
Well, I mean, that, of course, there's always a lot of intersection with, it's my second cider. I'm trying to get liquored up for tonight. Recurring issue that happens a lot, in case anyone that isn't already familiar with my videos watches this one, is that I have a lot of cis male nudists who latch on to my topless equality and they change it to free full body nudity so that they can also benefit by showing their penises. And while I am, again, born and raised in nudist, I'm fine with that. That is a separate issue. I want to focus on having the exact same rights that men already have. And so
with that note, about the men wanting to show their penises, normally out of context, I would be flabbergasted by that idea of
conflating topless equality with
that men want to expose their penises.
Oh.
But I've noticed when I look at the Reddit threads, like say for Collins Beach, Rooster Rock, things like that, if a person is taking a picture of themselves sunbathing, I notice that more often than not, it's like lying down, phone showing dick.
Oh, I know. I know.
And it's like, why is that always the default proof that you are naked? It's just a dick shot.
I have a lot of nudist men, and I mean, some of them are probably legitimate nudists, some of them aren't, but like they will just send me pictures unsolicited, and a lot of times they're like standing in front of a mirror with a half heart on, and I'm just like, I did not ask for that. I don't care if you want to be naked. Like if you're posting it to your own Blue Sky account, more power to you. You do not just DM someone unasked for pictures of, honestly, yourself in general, like even if it's just your face, but especially if you've got your penis out there. Ask first. It's not that hard. Why would you not take the time to just be like, hey, do you want to see my dick? And then if she says no, you go, okay, and you don't send it anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, rant. I get a lot of freaking unsolicited dick pics, and it really drives me nuts. But anyway, welcome to being.
Well, and there's a lot of online streamers, and maybe this is anecdotal for like the video gaming community that will have Discord servers, and the Discord server might have a channel for nude photos. But at least that's not a DM. If that model
that's good. You're giving consent. You're giving consent to seeing stuff like that if you go into a channel like that.
Yeah, you don't have to go into the channel to look at things. And if you're just like, you know what, I just got a certain tickle. I'm curious to see how people are looking.
Yeah.
That like one time a day, then they can do that. But yeah, DMs, especially DMs in some messaging platforms, that you don't know what the picture is going to be until it's loaded up. Like Snapchat or FetLife also does it as well. FetLife has a censor thing. At least FetLife has certain precautions put in place. But like it'll blur out the picture to the point that you cannot tell what it is, and then you click on it and it's like, oh hey, it's a thing. Yeah.
See, I feel like I've received enough unsolicited dick pics in my life that I can generally tell, like even from the blur image if it is. Because like I'm thinking of OnlyFans,
skin tones.
I do not post porn on OnlyFans. I post exactly the same stuff I do on my own website. But because dudes are fucking raised to think that female nipples are nudity and nudity is sexual, they will go to the site and they will be like, oh, nipples. And I will get so many fucking unsolicited dick pics, and they will send it in the DM and it'll be blurred out. And a lot of times, like, I get like, do you do ratings, which is this whole sex thing where it's like guys want you to tell them if their penis is hot or not. And I think it's got to be a humiliation fetish, because I mean, they can't.
No.
How many women do they expect to be like, it's glorious?
A lot of sex workers that do dick ratings will usually give them favorable ratings, even if the person says, give me an honest review.
Yeah.
More often than not, most of the people that I have seen give dick ratings like live on camera.
Oh,
they will rate it like a 7+.
Okay.
And it's because
they're paying for the service.
You're trying. The goal is unless a person has a humiliation kink.
Yeah.
You want as a worker, you want to pump up a customer's ego,
right?
Because they're really attracted to me. Then that must mean that there's this feedback.
Yeah.
The customer is more likely
ego
to pay
feeding,
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a business thing.
Yeah.
Most men want to be given a positive review for the penis.
Well, my thing, and I mean, yes, a lot of men don't even read any of the context that goes with my post. They just go, oh, female nipples. But like I've said over and over and over and over, I am not a sex worker. Just because you can see my nipples does not mean that I have sex with people for money. I am totally pro sex workers that want to do it, but I am not a sex worker. And if you send me like your dick, I'm gonna block you. And I still get these guys that just shove their fucking dick in my DM. And then I'm just like, if you want me to rate your penis, I'm going to say like 0 out of 10. Why are you sending it to me? But yeah, they probably, I'm not a person to them. They literally just loaded the profile, saw my picture, decided they thought I was hot, and just jumped right into the DMs. And that's why I don't like posting my content to porn sites, because the vast majority of the people who find my content on there are already looking for porn and are therefore going to be far less receptive to the idea of, yes, you can see my nipples, but no, I'm not going to have sex with you for money. Mm-hmm. I'm a little bit drunk, so sorry.
Now, what about you, Chrissy? What do you think makes a good
male feminist?
I mean, male feminist, or just a non-dick bag around women?
If you want to be in the video, I don't know if
you'll have to move a little bit so she can be seen.
That is a very loaded question.
Other than what we have talked about.
Well, okay, so recently I was on FET, and yes, I have a fairly...
Like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I have a fairly extensive biography on FetLife.
Ew, words.
I know.
This is literally what happened, yes.
And this guy DMs me I'm still trying to figure this one out. But he DMs me and he's like, do people actually really read all this shit?
Oh, I get messages like that too.
And I'm like, yes, actually they do read it. You know, it explains who I am and why I'm there.
And during this whole response, she's trying to be nice.
Yeah, and I'm like...
Well, see, there's your error. You should have just shut him down right away.
Well, I was like, yes.
See, this is why we don't like to be nice to men, because so often they... Sorry.
No, it's true. It's oh, shit, I put that backwards. No one's going to see it. Anyway, so I basically, yes, they do. You know, if you're so bored with it or irritated, you know, I'm confused as to why you even...
Oh, because he had to let you know what he thought.
Yeah, and
he was physically compelled to share his opinion with you.
Yeah, and then so...
How would you survive without knowing what he thought?
Right? And so
by the way, after looking at his profile really quick, a large portion of his pictures on his profile, dick pics.
Oh, of course.
Of course. Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all. So
yeah. He probably thinks it's the biggest dick in the world too. So.
And so, you know, I was like, well, okay, you know, if you don't like it or you don't like me, that's fine, you know, you be you. And then he sent me another one back, another yawning emoji. And
why didn't you just block him like 3 messages in?
So it was one message,
okay.
I responded, then he responded to me, and then he blocked me, which is fine. I wasn't going to respond again anyway.
Yeah.
But it was just the whole point of, you know. So I actually responded to his post with another post saying, manners matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't, I was always raised, doesn't matter who you are. You can be male, female, binary, non-binary, whatever you want to, you know, whatever. Manners matter. And if you don't have anything nice to say, keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Again, watch the nice tits video. Is the risk of pissing a woman off by saying something offensive worth the risk of, you know, why do you feel like you have to comment? Why did that guy have to go out of his way to let you know that he thought your profile was boring?
Yeah.
What is he adding to the world?
Nothing. Yeah, and that was my whole, that's why I'm so flabbergasted about it, you know,
It's
because I put on there that he must have been really fucking bored.
Yeah.
Well, and something that, like, you know, with this whole exchange, something that unfortunately now my partner has to be concerned of is that this is someone that, as far as at least his profile says, he is a local member of the member of the local community, and I've never seen him before. I don't know who this person is, but at least I see that he has marked as being part of the local community. So it's like,
you gotta be on the lookout.
Is there gonna be a confrontation at some point?
Yeah. Well, so literally, you know, talking about the whole fear of being raped or whatever like that. Like I said, women have been raised to be careful about saying no to men because a lot of times men will be violent. And no, not all men are violent, and women can be violent too. I'm not saying that. Get the fuck away. But the thing is, like, you know, the way that she was treated, it's what happens when dudes are getting bad information. They're going to like Andrew Tate, where it's like, oh, you got to talk to women like they're bitches, and then they'll want to earn your approval or whatever. Like, yes, there are women out there who, and I say this compassionately, are broken because they've been raised in a very toxic environment, or something happened that made them normalize that behavior. There are women out there. That does not mean that, first of all, you shouldn't be like focusing on that kind of woman, and second of all, you shouldn't be reinforcing those toxic things that they deal with. Why do you want to add to the cycle of abuse? Why don't you want to be a decent guy? I have said before, especially in the nice tits video, I do want to start a series of videos that's, again, I don't know exactly what I'm going to title it, something like advice for how not to be an incel from a feminist, which has a bunch of clickbait title words in it or whatever, but you know, whatever, if it gets more people to watch it. But I want to try to provide at least my take on healthy advice, so that guys who are looking for dating advice aren't only getting it from the Andrew Tates or whatever. Because, I mean, you heard how flabbergasted and upset she is. So if that guy's attempt was to like trick her into like talking to him more with maybe the ultimate goal of like having sex with her, he fucking blew that out. You know, that chance is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for certain.
Well, and it was a similar situation with you and me when we first met each other online. It was on an adult streaming site. You know, I'm just this random dude with a weird name that sounds like I'm sucking guts.
Talking about joystick.tv, which again is not just porn. So don't. Yeah. It wasn't. We didn't meet on Pornhub. I was using a sex site to do my non-sexual live streams because I can't do topless live streams on Twitch or whatever. So just want to clarify that when you say adult site.
Well, and this was a site before Joystick existed as well.
Oh yeah, Plexstorm. I forgot about that.
Yeah. It was on a totally different site. Same principle.
Yeah. Although one thing, I mean, there's a lot of things I like that Joystick TV does better than Plexstorm. One of them is there's nothing else playing on the sidebar on Joystick. Plexstorm, it really sucked when I had people who didn't want to watch porn but wanted to watch my streams where I was like editing video or whatever, and they would have to go to a site and see explicit porn playing on the side just to see female nipples. Yeah. Anyway.
So, you know, by having a good interaction, not being sexual, I don't, even in like the first minutes of saying hi, like you said, this is not a sexual environment. Yeah. I'm like, cool, I'm checking out who's around. Yeah.
We had to break for shaking, what was it, hairspray and peeing, so let's get back into it. Where were we?
Okay,
I'm gonna faint from the fumes, but that's okay.
So basically, when we first met, I was nice and I continued to be nice, and if I was a dick at any point earlier on, then we wouldn't have ever been in-person meetup. Yeah. So there is a saying, like, you can catch more flies or more bees with honey than vinegar.
More flies with honey than vinegar.
Yeah, more flies.
Yeah.
Now, don't take the saying literally or anything, but basically, just being a nice person, you're more likely to make friends than being a dick.
Yeah. So, shocking concept, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so, and again, like, this is why I don't really like posting to porn sites, because a lot of the people that come in are already looking for porn. So they see female nipples and they're so entrenched in our patriarchal society to think that, you know, female nipples are nudity and nudity is sexual. Therefore, if a female, you know, person talking from their perspective, I identify this person as female and their nipples are visible and they're on a porn site, therefore I can treat them however I want. And so I'll say, you know, literally my thing that pops up on Joystick is, hey, this is not a sexual stream. I'll still get at least 2 or 3 people per stream because I stream right now, as I mean, October 2025, I stream on Tuesdays, 12 to 3 p.m. PST at joystick.tv/ubisoft. And, you know, I'm like editing.
You know where to go, hopefully.
Yeah. You know, little links in the description. But I, you know, I'll be doing a live stream and I'll be like editing video or maybe drawing a picture or something like that. And I will get these dudes who come in and are like, nice tits, or, you know, just like all this really sexual stuff. Sometimes I'll get a guy who says something and I'm like, hey, it's not a sexual stream. And they're like, oh, okay, sorry. And sometimes they actually stick around and become you know, seem decent. And some even actually like join our Discord and become an actual member of the community. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen occasionally. But then you have cases where, like, last week I was streaming and this guy came in, and I can't remember if the first thing he said was sexual, but he was like, I was talking about, you know, feminism or whatever. He was like, yeah, like he was agreeing with it. And then he was like, haha, by the way, what's your feet size? Not even foot size. What's your feet size? And I was in the middle of editing my Why It's Rude to Say to a Woman Nice Tits video. And I was like, I don't really want to say, haha. And he's like, but no, really, what's your foot size? And I'm like, I'm not going to say. And he fucking blew off the handle and was like, I don't remember exactly what he said. It's literally in the VOD. So you can go watch it. But he blew up at me because I was like, no, I don't want to tell you my foot size. Like, I'm not a sex worker. I'm not here to fulfill your fetish. And it was just the irony of him coming in, acting like he was going to be cool, acting like he was going to get it, and then flipping out because I didn't want to give him my foot size. Again, that's why I don't trust men. Actually, # not all men.
And now that since you brought that up, you might have noticed there's a repeat pattern on one of the extra important things is read a person's profile.
Yeah.
Like, say you're on Tinder or whatever, don't just immediately swipe right or whatever. I don't use Tinder. The one that says you like a person. Don't just immediately, you know, say, oh, fuckable, not fuckable, fuckable, not fuckable, based on just a 1 second picture. Read their profile, whether it be a dating app, whether it be a streaming site, whether it be OnlyFans or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times people will say what they're into and what they're not into.
Yeah.
And
See,
you're very unlikely to have a positive response if you are doing the antithesis of what they are there for.
Yeah, I mean, I see, like, I don't really use dating sites anymore. Like, I would like to have a girlfriend. Like, my husband and I are technically poly, but who has the time for that? But dating sites now, like, they're overrun by men. And men will complain about, like, oh, I send out all these messages and nobody replies. It's like you're sending messages to every woman you see.
Supposedly there's dating apps only for women, but
oh no, there's so, like, Bumble and stuff like that, there's so much shit, like, they're not. And there's actually some
fake women, like a
not
guy.
even just that, like, there's weird shady shit. There's like video essays that I'll probably look up and find a link to that go into more detail about that. But the thing is, just like at a club or anything else like that, you're gonna get a lot more dudes than women. And it sucks for the dudes because it's like, you know, fish surrounded by sharks, where it's like, even if you're a nice shark, like, shark isn't a bad thing. Sharks are cool, but you know, you are going to have something to show for yourself besides, like, I was the first to ask her out or whatever like that. And the thing that drives me crazy about the guys that will just swipe right, start or whatever is the unique benefit of dating sites back in the era where, you know, you didn't have to pay $50 a month or whatever to be able to message people, which only, honestly, people that are either very, like, burnt out on just trying to meet people in real life, not real life, you know, in the flesh or whatever, or they're kind of desperate or whatever. Like, most people are not going to pay $50 a month unless it's predominantly dudes. And so there's a very small pool of women to choose from. And so if you're just like, hey, how's your weekend? Like, she's not going to fucking respond, dude. Think of how many other guys are DMing her going, hey, how's your weekend? Because it's like me on Discord. I get fucking, like, not as much now, but I used to get like 10 new people DMing me on Discord a day. Hey, how's it going? And I would just be like, hey, if you talk in the chat room, like, we'll hang out, blah, blah, blah. And they just be like, oh, I'm shy. It's like, well, I'm sorry, I'm just going to ignore you then. Like, yeah. So, I don't know. What I was trying to get at with the dating sites is that, again, back when people used to use them when everything wasn't, you know, paywalled, it's a unique opportunity to learn more about a person besides how they look. You go to a club or whatever like that, all you have to judge by is how they look. Yes, you can look at how they interact, like, with their friends or what they're wearing, stuff like that. But predominantly, all you have to judge them is by what you can see. Dating sites have a unique opportunity, if they actually bother to fill out their profile, where you can learn what their likes, what their dislikes are, what their boundaries are. You know, like,
this is something that
wait. I just want to say.
Okay.
For instance, I am married to a man with kids, and for a lot of people, they are anti-poly and or anti-kids. So it's like, why would you not take that opportunity to be like, oh, she's hot, but I don't, you know, here's a deal breaker for them or something like I do not kiss smokers. Like, I think it's gross. So.
Talking about how profiles, when you fill out a profile, it shows a lot of the likes and dislikes. Mm-hmm. That is something that I do like about FetLife, is that you can be very granular about the kinks that you are interested in or not interested in. You can be very, very granular with it. Mm-hmm. And I like looking at profiles and going, oh, hey, this person, I had no idea that they were into this one particular thing. I prefer that than, like, guesswork. Yeah. I'm easily intimidated by approaching a person being like, hi, I would like to date you. I don't know what to start with this conversation.
Yeah.
So having something, you know, in common to talk about does help a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, it
So
doesn't even
here's a recommendation. Men, fill out your profiles.
Yeah. Fill out your profiles and read the profiles of the people you're messaging.
Yeah.
Just find one individual thing about that person's profile to, like, comment on, like, if they say a favorite movie that you like or something like that, something to prove that you're not just one of these dudes who's messaging every woman on the site, hey, how's your weekend? You will have way better. It's not about messaging as many women as you can. It's about actually having some intention behind who and how you message them. Yes, it's more work, but if your goal is to eventually actually hopefully have sex with this person, why would you not take that extra time to set yourself up for success.
Well, and I would hope that there would be more to things than just sex.
I know, but talking about like Tinder or whatever like that, like the odds of you mass messaging women, hey, how's your weekend? I have no research figures in front of me, but from my own female perspective, I think you will have better luck messaging fewer people with more intentional messages than mass messaging everyone with copy pasta.
In that, so I can't comment
on that.
Oh,
you
that.
Disagree? No.
Well, slightly, but not from personal experience.
Okay.
Because I could not do that.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have success reaching out to a whole bunch of people. But I've seen people that their whole philosophy is just fast and loose,
Yeah.
just like, I mean, my ex, for example, she would...
Okay, but she's also a woman. So it's a lot easier if you're a woman.
Yeah.
If you're a guy, mass messaging people is a lot harder to get.
But like, there are stories of men that they, I don't know, if your only goal is to have sex, then unfortunately I've seen examples, but I think it's more than just playing the numbers. I think that there is a huge personality aspect that inherently ends up being a person that reaches out and, you know, just fishes in the sea looking for a bite. Those are going to be people that are more confident, and unfortunately confidence is an extremely powerful tool, even if a lot of times confidence is ill-earned. But
I mean,
if your goal is to have any sort of stable relationship that is not a dumpster fire waiting to blow up, then you need to put in more effort than just next person.
Well, that's the male loneliness thing, where it's like, you know, some men are just, they're raised to prioritize having sex as like the end goal, and it's like, it doesn't matter if you're friends with your partner, it doesn't matter if you have anything in common, as long as you're having sex, you're successful. And talking about long-term relationships, like, my husband is basically my best friend. Like, we fight. Oh, do we fight? Like, I am constantly complaining about him. But, like, I was talking to my other friend, one of my online friends, who's also a guy, because almost all my friends are guys. And I was saying that, like, I feel bad for other people who don't have that live-in best friend. Because it's like, you are a lot more lonely. And the more lonely you are, the more susceptible you are to bad advice, I would say. That's literally how these alpha male podcast bros get paid, is they go for these, you know, don't want to be an incel but are starting to fall into the incel lifestyle type guys, and they're like, hey, you're lonely, I got the solution there.
It's the simple answer that no one seems to have ever thought of before.
Every pyramid scheme ever. So anyway, I think that this video is long enough. So did you have any final, and I know again it was unplanned, it was you know, just freewheeling. So, but did you have anything else you wanted to say about being a good male feminist versus a shitty one? To summarize, advice: listen to marginalized people, and in this topic especially, listen to women. Take the time to actually connect with them on something you have in common besides, I find her hot. Be ready to admit, like, even if you did mean something as a compliment, if it's coming off as an insult or if it's coming off as objectifying or whatever, own up to it. Either change your behavior or just admit that you don't care if she actually takes it as a compliment or not. And let's see, what else was there?
Well, I mean, I said don't be grossed out, but be willing, be receptive to things that you might not inherently be interested in. Yeah,
you know, just like if she's having a really shitty period, don't be like, ew, I don't want to hear that. Just be like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I wish there was more I could do to help you. You know, like, that's what my husband does. It's so funny, because it's like, he honestly pays more attention to my period cycles than I do. He'll be like, oh, it's about time, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, how are you feeling today? And I'm just like, you know, I feel like I died, but, you know, it is what it is. Give it a couple days and I'll be fine. And yeah, like, again, I honestly think my husband is a pretty good example of a male feminist. He doesn't go around saying, I'm a male feminist. He walks the walk. And that's what makes him a good male feminist.
I guess something that just popped into my mind, I guess don't just listen to these, to this advice and then be afraid to have this kind of opinion around other men.
Oh,
that's another good one. You know, if you're around a bunch of men that are having locker room talk and they're both they're both saying like how I don't know how fugly someone is with the way their badonkadonk does the whatever thing. It's like you can say, dude, they're our coworker.
Or even just like why is it okay for women or for men to talk about women like that? But like if a man said that about another man, it'd be like, hey bro, that's not cool. So why is it cool to say it about women? Yeah, I mean, speaking about being a male feminist, that's a good point. Is like, it's not just you doing your best not to be a shitty person, it's also calling out other men on being shitty, because the unfortunate reality, and again, you can look at the alpha male podcaster bro examples, like, women will be telling these guys, look at the fucking responses to the bear versus man, where women are saying the reason that I choose bear is because the bear is a lot less likely to fucking kill me or rape me or anything like that. And men are like, well, then you deserve to get mauled if you're going to pick the bear over me. Total lack of self-awareness, and they have no idea why women are picking the bear.
Well, that whole conversation, yes, it completely blew over people's heads. There was way more to that conversation of the man versus bear than just, oh, you think that you stand any sort of chance against surviving against a bear.
Men immediately jumped to the fighting thing. It was like, no, the question wasn't, do you think you would win a fight against a man or a bear? It was, if you encounter one in the woods, who do you think would be safer?
But it's not just, it's the, what is it, hurt dog holler. There's some saying.
A hurt dog will holler.
A hurt dog will holler, which is basically saying, why are you getting so defensive about this hypothetical thought experiment?
Yeah,
you are getting extremely defensive about something that realistically is never going to happen, which tells more about you as a person than the other person. And if they are saying, yes, I trust a bear than I trust a man, why?
Yeah, if you hear a woman say that she would rather encounter a bear in the woods than a man, and your response is rage, sit with that. Why are you so triggered at the idea that a woman would be more nervous around men than a bear? Because I'll tell you what, if your focus is on proving that men are the better option, being a raging asshole online and saying she deserves to get mauled by a bear is not going to make her trust men more. I don't understand. Anyway, that's a rant. So
there are literally going to be people in the world that think that because she thinks that she is safer around a bear, I will then kill her to prove that she is safer around men than the bear. What?
And then men wonder why women are often nervous around men when they hear, because again, to me this is terribly obvious, but for some reason a bunch of men don't seem to understand this. We don't know that you're a good guy. You can claim, hey, I'm not a rapist. Guess who else says that? Rapists. You cannot just say I'm a good male feminist and we'll be like, oh, okay, I take you on your word. Walk the walk. If you genuinely think that you're a friend to women, that you want to help make the world a better place for all genders, all identities, not just cis white men, walk the walk. Call out toxic shit when you see other people, especially men, say it, because unfortunately a lot of men don't listen if a marginalized person says it. A woman could tell a man 10,000 times, hey, that's a really gross comment. Man's not going to change his behavior. Another man says, hey, that's a gross comment. That guy might be like, oh, I didn't realize. To me, that's wild.
Well, there was a role reversal French video. It's on YouTube, which is basically all of the sexist, misogynistic shit that happens in the world, but all of the roles are reversed. And then at one point in the story, a man gets assaulted in an alleyway, and all of the female cops are like, how were you dressed?
Yeah.
Did you say something that invited them to be angry at you?
Yeah.
If it's okay when one person says it or does it, but it's not okay when the other person says or does it, it shouldn't be okay either side.
Yeah. I mean, men should not be getting raped either.
And hopefully you link to the video.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we keep getting into tangents and I'm like, God, I have to pee again already. But it's wild to me when I'm like arguing for this kind of stuff and I have men be like, well, men get raped too. I'm like, yeah, that's bad also. Like, how is that a counter argument to don't rape women?
And most men get raped by men.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. But I mean, it's just all these like counter arguments that I hear a lot. First of all, they tend to be perpetrated by men, and also they don't detract the thing that they supposedly think that they're detracting. So I have to pee again. I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for being in the video. Again, this is very impromptu. If you haven't already, please go to toplesstopics.org/nice-tits, and you can watch that other video I mentioned. I guess we're going to put the URL up there. I don't know. Yeah, if you've never heard of Topless Topics before, my name is Cleo. The channel is Topless Topics, and I talk about a broad variety of progressive subjects. My special focus is on highlighting the blatant absurdity of gender-based censorship, but I also talk about decriminalizing sex work and racial equality and anti-capitalism, all that lefty bullshit. So please go to the website, toplesstopics.org. You can look up by topic. And yeah, I will have a page for this video as well. I don't know what the URL is going to be. I'll throw it in there. Here. URL. Me. And if you are not a fucking piece of shit asshole pervert, if you can hit that very specific criteria,
that's a tough bar.
Please feel free to check out our Discord server at toplesstopics.org/chat and help me make better videos by joining the Patreon, patreon.com/toplesstopics. And there's probably a bunch of other links out there, but I have to pee, so I'm gonna say bye. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, share this video with other people, especially dudes who need to fucking hear this lesson. Let's go to our Halloween party.
Halloween!
Happy Halloween!